What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Power by Primus, and I'm doing another video from my car. We did just have organized play drop and a bunch of rulings and a roadmap, so I'm going to be going over that in this video, but I'm not going to have time to do it later on. I've got a tournament to go to tonight and then a recording later on for you guys coming out today, some gameplay, so I wasn't going to have time to be able to go home and try to edit one, so I figured I would just do a raw video for you guys. I'm going to be telling you guys all of the different things that is coming out with organized play, the rewards, and what really changes with it, because quite a bit is about to change with this organized play if you plan on playing in game stores that do follow the formats or at a competitive level. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, best 2 of 3. Now, this isn't much of a shocker. Most people have been playing best of 2 of 3 anyway, so it is best of 2 of 3, but all those places that were doing best of 1-ofs, it's kind of out. Now we're doing best of 2 of 3s. It is 50-minute rounds. Now, we haven't gotten ruling on what we're going to do yet with draws or what happens when time runs out. They did say that later on in the week, they will be giving away the rest of the ruling for it. So I will make sure I update you guys, obviously, with that once we get to that point. But as of right now, we have no idea. I do hope that they come up with something, because at my locals, we tend to run out of 50 minutes for some people quite often, especially when you have blue versus blue matchups. It can be really difficult to finish best of 3s in 50 minutes. It can be really tough. So there is that. But I want to talk about sideboard. Now, sideboard is official. It is a love-hate relationship with sideboard for some people. Some people absolutely love sideboard. Some people absolutely hate sideboard. So no matter how you feel about it, it is a real thing now. They did do it differently than I thought as far as adding something to it, but anyway, let's get into it. But I called it with sideboards. I've been saying sideboards are going to be coming out for a long time. They are kind of a necessary evil when it comes to this game, and most games in general, because sometimes you have a deck or cards that just can't quite fight your opponent, and they're just dead cards. And currently, if you just have a bad deck, like if I'm running my Bombshell, which I'll use that as an example quite a bit throughout the film, but if I'm using Bombshell or whatever else and I play against a discard list, then I'm just going to lose probably game 2 and probably going to lose game 3 as well, and then I'm just kind of SOL. Whereas now I'm going to be able to change out some of my specific stuff. If, you know, maybe I need this other card, or there's one card that's just dead for me, I'll be able to use and then to be able to swap out with something else for my sideboard. Now, the way sideboards work is it's going to be 10 card sideboards. I figured it would be 10. It's in Magic, they have 15, which is a fourth of 60. So I figured they would do 10, which is a fourth of 40. So we keep getting like really weird flashes. I don't know what that is, but I figured they would do 10. Now, in order for this to work, you can't have more than 3 of each battle card like normal rules. So you can't have 3 security checkpoints in your deck and 3 security checkpoints in your sideboard. That doesn't work. In addition to that, they haven't officially said that once you go to take a card out of your deck that you have to replace it with a sideboard card and vice versa. So the deck minimums are still 40 cards. So you can't change your deck minimums. The plane. So you can't change your deck minimums. You still are at a minimum of 40 cards. Now, obviously, you could add to it to go over 40 from your sideboard if you need it. You totally can, because, again, it's just a minimum of 40. There isn't a maximum. Now, the next part about it is you also still have to follow the star count. Now, your team still has to consist of 25 stars, including with your deck. So if your deck has 2 sideboard cards that have star cards, well, then make sure that you have the 2 star cards available as far as from your team goes, because you can't go over that 25 mark. That mark stays the same. The next thing about it is they're adding a character to the sideboard. Now you can have, it says up to a 20-star character in your sideboard. They won't let you go over that currently. I'm sure there may be some changes in the future that might work with something, but I'm guessing it probably doesn't let you change, I don't know, like a Metroplex out for somebody else or whatever the case may be. So it says up to 20 stars. You do still have to follow the 25 star count rule. So you can't, let's say you're running 23 stars in your list and you have a 13-star character and a 10-star character. You can't swap out that 10-star character for another 13-star character from your sideboard, because that then puts you at 26. But the fun part about it is that it does allow you to change up your deck pretty drastically if you have a character that's not doing a lot. Like, let's say you're running RC. Well, RC just gets one shot by your opponent in this matchup you're playing. So you're like, oh, well, I can swap out RC for another 5-star character that's going to maybe help me do something different if that's the case. Okay, well, that's cool. The other thing is, like I said, I'm going to use Bombshell in all these instances. If I have Bombshell and my opponent's running a bunch of discard stuff and I'm just getting kind of beat up by it, or my opponent's running a combiner and I'm like, it's going to be really hard for me to get to 25 star cards, you can switch out Bombshell for, like, let's say, Sunstorm. And now Sunstorm has a chance to be able to do crazy number of damage because you can have crazy, number of cards in hand. So that is really cool as well. The disadvantage to it, though, is that it really changes up the gameplay. Currently, we have it where you sit down, you see your opponent's characters, and you get to build and play and fight against those characters, and you really get to learn how that deck interacts and how you get to play against that list. But come game 2, your opponent swaps out this key character for another key character, and you're like, oh, now I've got to figure it out again. So a lot of the rules that go in place with other competitive games and other games that have sideboards and stuff kind of remain the same. You really want to try to win game 1. If you win game 1, you now have 2 sideboarded games to be able to try to take a second game, because again, these are best of 3. So you really have a huge advantage. The disadvantage to going first and winning first is what I'll say is that the way that they set up these rules is what'll happen is the winner of the match will have to do all of their sideboarding, change their character, and present their new team and the new deck, and then the opponent gets to sideboard a character and sideboard their cards. Now, you don't get to see your opponent's sideboarding cards, obviously, but you at least get to see, okay, my opponent swapped out 5 cards. What are they going to put in for 5 cards? And then you get to really think about that and see, oh, they swapped out this character for this character. Okay, now I need to try to do this in my deck. And it allows the loser to be able to get that advantage, to be able to see what's best to do going into game 2 to hopefully push that game 3. So that's the way that works. Now, for all of you guys who have no idea what a sideboard is cards that you put on the outside of your deck, but they're included as your deck. So you start off with your starting list of, let's say, 40 cards, and then you have 10 backup cards. Essentially, it is your reinforcements, your backup deck. Now, you cannot play with any of these cards game 1. You have your starting 40, you get to play your game, and like I said, whether you win or lose, you get to then, let's say, if you have 5 armors in your list and that just don't do anything, your opponent is running 3 ramming speeds and 3 bashing shields, and they just blow up your armor every single turn. They're useless for you. You can then go, okay, cool, game 2, I'm going to take these 5 armors out that aren't doing anything for me, and I'm going to swap them with these 5 cards that are going to be able to do something for me. And then maybe that leaves those opponents' cards in their deck as dead cards. They're going to be drawing them and not doing anything for them. So that's entirely possible. But like I said, you have to swap cards. As far as we know now, like I said, they haven't said anything where you can just add them. I would imagine you can, but there's nothing that says that you have to, if you put one in, you have to take one out of your deck. There's no ruling for that. So like I said, I would imagine you can add, but you can't just take away from your deck. Obviously, you still have to play with a minimum of 40 cards. So there is that. Now, the next thing with sideboards is always making sure that you take your sideboard cards out of your deck at the end of a match. Now, this is going to be really obvious for most people who've been playing games that have sideboards and have really been used to it and conditioned themselves for it. But if you don't, it can be a really, really, really big problem going into your next round, especially coming into organized play. It usually will come down to a match loss. So be very conscious of that at the end of your match. Make sure you remembered your first 40 lists. I'm sure if we're going to these organized events, there's going to be deck lists. Just review your deck list and take out all of those cards out of your sideboard that are supposed to be in your sideboard, and make sure all the cards that are supposed to be in your main deck that you took out go back in. You always want to start the next match with the same list that you started the previous match. And like I said, because I would hate for you guys to get a deck loss because you just don't know that or haven't been conditioned for it. So that's why you'll see most people who will pile shuffle at the end of a game. It's for them to really count how much is in their deck to make sure that they have 15 on their sideboard and all that other good jazz. So there is the things about those. I'm going to get into now all of the different tournaments that we have coming up, which are going to be fun. And then I will get into all of the prizes because, let's be honest, that's what everyone really wants to know. So the first match our first tournament that we're going to be having is Origins Game Fair. Now, this is going down in Columbus, Ohio, June 12th through June 16th. So, I will not be able to attend this one. I will be attending another one on here, so I'll talk to that here in just a second. But each player will get 1 pack per entry into the tournament. So, I think they said there's going to be 4 different events that you can get into over the course of those days. It is 4 days, so probably 1 event a day. And you get 1 pack per entry. Now, entry fee is $26. So if you want to pay $26 for a booster pack, more than welcome to. But I would imagine if you're paying the $26, it's because you're trying to really get into the play of the things. You know, I don't really advise you paying $26 to get a pack and then dropping. Seems kind of awkward. But that is the way that it's going down. 1 pack per event that you attend. Now, if you get top 8, you are getting a booster box of Wave 3, which is pretty sweet. And then if you get top 16, you get an invitation to the Energon Invitational at PAX, which I'm super excited about. We'll talk about that here in just a second because it's actually a really big tournament. But this thing specifically, so excited. But top 16 will get you an entry into the event. Now, based on that, obviously you have to, I'm going to adjust this real quick. Haha. Based on that, you have to have an invitation to get into the Energon Invitational. Kind of makes sense. Now, there's going to be multiple ways of getting an invitation to this. I'm going to go over all of them, but this is going to be one of them. I said top 16 gets an invitation to it. Now, if you top 16 the first day and you get an invitation, and then you go to top 16 the second day, you forfeit your invitation, and it goes to the next unqualified person for it. So let's say the 17th player or the top 17th player, he doesn't get an invitation. If one of you guys in the top 16 gets it, it then goes to that person who's 17. Same thing goes for 18, 19, 20, blah, 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 all the way through. So you can go back and play every single day, and you can keep getting more invitations, but it just keeps getting passed off. Once you have an invitation, you have your invitation, you're set in stone. Awesome job. So now when it comes to prizes for this, there's going to be for this tournament, there's going to be a $10,000 prize pool. That's a pretty big chunk of money. First place is getting $1,500. Second place is getting $1,000. Third and fourth place, $750. Fifth through eighth is getting $500. 9 through 16 is getting $2,500 on top of those previous things I talked about. And then 17 through 32 are going to get $125. So cool part is if you do attend every day and you do get access to these, you're going to be bringing in a bunch of stuff, which is really nice. It really rewards you for playing a bunch and getting out there and really trying to really get to that top 16, top 8 and stuff like that, which is really nice. I'm also going to be really interested now that they are adding organized play and big prize pool, what the attendance is going to change. Like right now, most places, including our tournament, where we've had, 20 to 25 people show up, a top 32, everyone's going to automatically qualify for. So it'll be really interesting to see how many more people are going to show up, and I'm really excited for this game and for how many more people I'm hoping that this is going to bring into it. And we can go to a tournament where we got 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people. Like, it's going to be pretty crazy. How many we're going to hopefully be getting to and be at that point where it's going to start to be able to really be a big thing, and we're going to have tons and tons of people playing in local game stores, which is going to be really nice, and then playing obviously at these higher level tournaments. So the next event that we're going to be getting into is the one I'll be attending, Gen Con. I will be at Gen Con. It is August 1st through August 4th. Now, I'm going to be there a couple of days earlier. I'm going to be seeing someone I know that lives there a couple days before, and then the day before I'm just going to be chilling. So if you guys are planning on going to Gen Con and you guys want to schedule a meetup, a hangout, or something, whatever else, even just for some fun gameplay before we head into this big tournament that we're going to have, you guys just want to sit down and do some play testing, I'm going to be there. I know a couple other people that are going to be there that play with me locally here, so we can have some fun, we can meet up, and we can game. So just message me through one of our various ways of messaging me, and we'll plan something out. It'll be a lot of fun. Entry fee for that one, $26. It's going to be the same thing. Now, prizes for this one, though, aren't determined yet. Now, they've said for sure right now that top 16 will be getting an invitation to the PAX Invitational and will come with a 3-day badge. Now, they didn't say that about the previous event, so I would imagine that you're not going to be getting it from that, but I'm not 100% sure. So there is that. Now, prizes are going to be the same prizes that you get from the previous one, that $10,000 prize pool. First place, 1,500. Second place, 1,000. Third and fourth, 750. 5 through 8, 500. 9 through 16, 250. And 17 through 32 is going to be getting $125. So even if you do show up and get one tournament where you do really well, you may pay for all 4 of your tournaments that you go to, which I think is kind of cool. Or maybe even some of those badge fees that you paid for. So that's pretty sweet. Now, the other thing that they have said about prizes is that they're going to be giving out toys as well. So we're going to probably see some toy line stuff in there, hopefully some exclusive stuff. I would imagine it probably won't be too exclusive. It's probably just going to be like leader classes and maybe a couple of other like masterpieces or something like that. So it'll be pretty interesting to see. Maybe they're going to pull out some really old stuff out of the vault, or maybe there's some new stuff that you'll get, you know, a couple of months before it hits shelves. So that ought to be pretty cool too. So the next thing I want to talk about before I get into the invitational, I'm probably going to talk about that last, but it's in-store gameplay. Now, tons of you guys, the majority of you guys, are probably going to be trying to get to an invitational through your game store versus paying to travel across the country like some other people are, and like I said, spending, you know, $1,500, $2,000 to be able to get an invitation. So in-store gameplay, the Wave 3 launches obviously the 28th, pretty sure, but they said the in-store gameplay will be happening between July 1st and September 30th. Now, the way that this is going to be working out is top players from these events are going to be getting an invitation. Now, same thing will go once you have an invitation. Let's say you win your first week, take first place, congratulations, you get an invitation. Well, week 2, you get first place. Okay, well, go away. So, second week, you get first place. It will get handed down to your second place person who doesn't have an invitation. Then they get an invitation. And then I would imagine that it keeps passing. They haven't quite said it yet. The thing that they might not do is only have top players go. And it's that way, so you win first place and you're like, it's okay, I'll give it to someone else, and then eventually the entire store gets an invitation. The thing about it is that they're not paying for people to fly out there, so even if they were to give 10,000 invitations out, that's really cool. They'll have that many people who could possibly show up, but people still have to pay to go. So that is going to be that underlining factor there. So there is that. Like I said, top players are going to be getting them. They've also showed off some golden characters. I'm going to be posting those in my next video when I go in a little bit of details, because I'm at work right now. I'm on my lunch break, so really don't have access to all the computer stuff. So, but the golden characters are going to be Wave 1 Flame War. They look really cool. I'm sure you guys can Google them at this point. They'll probably be all over here very soon. I know they're in the Facebook, so if you're on the Facebook group, you guys can definitely go check those out right away. Wave 2 Bumblebee, and then Wave 3 Private Red Alert. So they're really cool, these gold foiled characters. It's just a way to like give out these character cards that people can get normally, so it's not like you're, you know, paying to win or you won something that no one else can get. It just looks different and it looks cool as a cosmetic essentially, and it's pretty sweet, and I'm glad that they're doing that, which is really, really awesome. So, and then the last thing I want to talk about on my list of stuff is the PAX Energon Invitational. Now, this is supposed to be a big event. This is obviously where they're going to take all these people who have won all these invitations and then clash them together, which has some insane prizes. So, it'll be going on December 6th through the 8th. So, if it's something that you're super, super interested in, make sure you guys mark all your calendars for all this stuff so you guys can obviously attend all these events. So, the entry prizes, top 8, they're saying are going to be toys amongst other things. So no idea what that means. Let's go into top 32 prize money. They have a huge prize pool for this one. First place getting $3,000. That's a big chunk of change. I don't know about you, but man, I could really use $3,000. Second place getting $2,000. Third place $1,500. 5 through 8 $1,000. 9 through 16 are getting $500, and then 17 through 32 are getting $250. So even top 32 walking away with $250 is pretty cool. But like I said, if you get to that first place, you're in that $3,000, whatever else is really nice. But there's a curve. Now, first place will be able to be given the chance. Now, obviously, there's going to be some gray areas. Maybe timing doesn't work out or something scheduling, and maybe they'll give it to second place. Who knows? But first place will get the chance to work with the Wizards team to be able to create a character card. That's pretty cool. So you're going to actually be able to, like, I would imagine, fly out there, sit down with them, you know, work with the artist to be able to come up with the art, work with the design team to come up with a design for it, you know, naming the character, all the other good stuff. I don't know if they would do an existing character that you would add on or alter, or if they would create a new character for you. So I don't know. So we'll see all that stuff as all that does start to unfold. But like I said, I wanted to give you guys an update on everything as far as the organized play goes. Now, I'm sure some of you guys are probably interested about when this begins. I would imagine with Wave 3's launch. As far as the sideboarding goes and all this other stuff goes, we had a rule change when we were in Wave 1 about Wave 2, about flipping characters in the KO area and stuff, but nothing became effective till Wave 2. So I'd imagine that this stuff is going to be on the same boat, becoming effective with Wave 3. Now, I'm really interested. Let me know what you guys think about as far as how this is going to go. If you guys are really excited about it, if you guys are kind of on the fence about it, how do you guys feel about sideboards and stuff? My thoughts on it is I'm really excited. I'm really excited that they finally opened the door to organized play. They took their time for sure, but they really lined it up correctly to make sure that it was a way that everyone was going to really want to play it. It was going to be competitive, but still be fun and interactive. I'm really excited with Wave 3's launch, man. It is going to shake up everything so much, between adding new character cards, new battle cards, now sideboards, and then competitive play on top of that. Our meta is going to completely change. It is going to be shaken up like crazy, and I'm so excited to see what comes out. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with this, I know a lot of people were asking, they didn't talk about coverage. I have no idea what coverage is going to be like, so I got nothing, guys. I can't tell you what the plan is. I'm going to be bringing all of my equipment. Hopefully we can get some cool interviews with some people or whatever else, but I have no idea what is going to be okayed for recording, not okayed for recording, all the other stuff. Obviously, when I go to Gen Con, I'll be doing a bunch of vlogs while I'm there. I'll be doing a tournament report while I'm there, probably each day or each night, because there's a tournament every day for it, so I'll probably be doing tournament reports every single night for you guys. I know lots of you guys have been asking about more competitive stuff, so I'm going to be showing you guys a little into the other side of the gaming world. I'm still not going to be changing away from a lot of my casual stuff. I know lots of you guys love casual, some of you guys love competitive, back and forth, yada yada, so I'm going to be definitely doing a lot more with that. I also put in the description the other day that we had something working on with a website, and I am working on a really fun and interactive website for you guys. I have a lot of really big plans for you guys, and I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work best and benefit you guys best. So I am working on something, so give me some time on that, but we're going to be having articles, really cool ways for you guys to interact with us, a shop, which is going to be super sweet. So we have lots of stuff coming. So it'll be really interesting. As I have more updates, I'll obviously update you guys, but let me know what you guys think about this video and about organized play. If you guys enjoyed the video, a like would obviously be greatly appreciated. Make sure you guys are subscribed. If you're not, shame on you. Just kidding. But I'll see you guys later on.